Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our...
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett, Tim, Mike, this is pretty crazy. We're all sitting down with Sean Reed, who is a fellow Marine Corps veteran. Sean is a 10-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps, served in the Special Operations community as a reconnaissance Marine at 2nd MSOB, as well as 3rd Recon and 2nd Force Recon. While in the Marines, Sean deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa. In 2010, after returning from Afghanistan, Sean decided to leave the Marines in order to take care of his daughter. In 2011, he took his first fight in order to raise money for a critically wounded teammate. Since then, Sean has turned professional, but still continues to donate all of the proceeds of his fights to veteran causes. The current veteran organization Sean is fighting for is Silent Warrior Scholarship Foundation, Stand by the Wounded, and Raider Project. So, welcome MMA fighter Sean Reed to Cigars and Sea Stories. So great to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. So what wound up leading into this MMA path as you left the Marine Corps?
Well, I got out of the Marines, and like most guys, you kind of sit around and get in a funk and a rut. You leave that brotherhood, and you had all those tight bonds. And there was nothing really driving me. And one of my good friends, Chris Valentine, giving him a shout out now, he pulled me into the MMA gym and was like, just come out and try it out with me. And I went over, and the first day they beat the hell out of me, and it felt really good. And I was like, man, this is kind of what I was missing here. So I got into it, training, and after I trained for about a year or two, one of my teammates, Eden Pearl, who was critically wounded with us over in Afghan, he was going through his rehab process and everything, and we wanted to try and build a house for him and his family. Because they were following him all over the country, didn't have a stable place to be, and we wanted to give him just that solid foundation for his daughter to go to school. So I was like, well, how can I raise money? I mean, I could just donate my own money, but, there's only so much of that to go around. And so we decided to take a fight, partnered with Brothers in Arms Foundation, Phil Noblin. He's the founder of that one, a great guy, and a guy named Wes Whitlock, a Rogue American Apparel. We all kind of partnered up, made T-shirts, sold tickets for the fight, did all types of stuff, and raised a bunch of money to get him in a house. And tell you what, a great American, Gary Sinise, kind of jumped on board with that project. We raised enough to build a plot of land out in San Antonio, and then Gary Sinise threw down a check to build the house, $500,000 without asking any questions. Great patriot and good American.
Wow.
That's awesome. Crazy. Wes Whitlock's a great dude too, man.
He is crazy mofo. He's putting all those damn beastly pictures and Instagram videos online of him throwing around cement balls. But yeah, man, a great guy.
Yeah.
Tim, you have a great little sea story about Gary Sinise also. You had a good run-in with him, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was cool. I was when I was in Iraq in 2008 with 3rd Recon. Some of the guys in one of the platoons got hurt, and were in the cache there at Al Assad, and Gary was doing his thing, doing the meet and greet at the local White Elephant or whatever the hell you call the freaking recreation center they had there on base. And I managed to get a hold of one of his handlers, and they convinced him that he ought to go over there and meet those guys before they flew out to out of country.
Right.
And he was awesome, man. He spent a lot of time with them, hours, in there taking pictures, talking, and signing their casts and different stuff like that before they flew off, and it was pretty cool.
Because at the end of the day, that stuff matters. Especially the guys in theater. Shit.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, that guy, he goes to San Antonio all the time. And crazy story about Eden, he was burned 90% of his body, triple amputee. They didn't think he was going to make it. The doctors even said he was probably one of the worst wounded Americans to ever survive. And when my buddy, when we were raising money, he's a commandant of Chicago Police Marine Corps League, hits me up and says, hey, man, Gary Sinise is going to be doing this, $1,000 a plate dinner fundraiser. You want me to go up to him and try and get him to get on board? And I said, yeah. I said, when is it? He goes, well, I'm here now. What's the info? Write it on a napkin. So he wrote it on a napkin, went up to Gary Sinise, and Gary remembered Eden from visiting him a year prior in San Antonio. As soon as he brought up his name, he was like, Eden, he made it through that? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, anything you need. And next day, his assistant hit up Phil and was like, yeah, what do you guys need? Tell you what, I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that dude's awesome.
Yeah, Eden was a great guy too. His whole family was well, they still are, but it's a damn shame what happened to him.
Yeah, they're an inspiration. I mean, for all of us out there that put their ass on the line, you just hope your family can be half the family that his was and supportive after everything.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's some recent fights you've had, man?
No, I mean, I fought mainly the regional shows over here. The guy I'm about to fight now, he was actually a YouTube sensation because he caught this guy when he was an amateur in this like inverted Boston crab. It looked like a WWF move. So he's got like 70,000 views on YouTube from his fight. And so I tell all my friends to go and look at it and tell me that, that I better not get caught. I'm like, yeah, if I get caught in that, everybody in the audience gets to punch me in my face as soon as I walk out that cage. It's the most ridiculous looking thing ever, So, so yeah, he's probably the most famous guy I'm going to have a fight against.
So all I can think of is like you fighting for charity, right?
Yeah.
Is Here Comes the Boom. And for some reason, man, all I could think in my head, I'm like, I know what you look like. You know what I mean? But I'm like, dude, all I can think of is Kevin James fighting for the school. I think that my kids love that movie. That's part of the problem. I've seen it like 50,000 times.
Oh, so. You poor bastard.
Yeah, it's funny.
You know what? I never thought about it before, but I was doing this before them, so I'm going to try and get some royalties or something. They stole my story, man.
That's funny, man.
So when you were in the reconnaissance community, did you have a specialty? Like, for instance, were you dual cool, or did you go the amphib route primarily? Did you enjoy jumping out of perfectly good airplanes? What was kind of your game while you were in recon?
Yeah, I mean, I went to jump and I went to dive, and I went more like the intel route. Once I got back, I went through DLI. I got my degree in Arabic and side specialty in Iraqi dialect. And then I started focusing more on the intel side of the house in the teams when I got back to second MSOB. So that was kind of my specialty and what I like doing.
Nice.
More like a chess game, chasing down the bad guys.
Yeah. I was just curious if you were like black belt, red tab, one mind, any weapon, before you went out into, the MMA arena or what have you. So.
No, I mean, I went through the McMat program and I got my brown belt, but it was still kind of new when I was getting out. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I trained for a week and I got a brown belt. I'll never remember this. Great. But no, I didn't really take that stuff too serious when I was in. I think it's a great program that they're doing it now. It's just, it's hard to think that somebody can get a black belt in something in, a couple of weeks and really have mastered anything.
Right. I'm kind of glad I wasn't in the Corps that had that.
Were you still in the line drills or whatever it was?
The old line system.
Yeah,
that was badass. I
went from there, but then I went to the Army, and theirs was even dumber. I feel like because it was all like jujitsu based, and I'm like, this is not a fighting system. I was like, it is a fighting system if you're in a ring,
right?
And at the end of the day, yes, I need to know ground skills because if and when I get into the shit, 99% of fights end up on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I always felt, I'm like, in combat, I'm either stabbing this dude or shooting before he even gets to me. I'm not going to need this much training to roll around with the guy on the ground, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what move. I'm using the move that doesn't get me killed.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm picking up the heaviest object that I can sling over my shoulder and smack him in the head with.
And that's not a move.
No.
Right. That's pure instinct.
So,
or I'm running faster.
right. You remember, we all know what we train the shit out of ourselves for muscle memory, and it works great with guns and stuff when you're, and when that adrenaline kicks in and your fingers turn into sausages and can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? But we know that we have two fingers that work, and that's our thumb to slam the selector lever and the freaking finger to pull the trigger. Other than that, it's a soup sandwich. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
So I used to always laugh at the fighting systems that they put together and shit. Just makes me laugh.
It's like the best takeaway that I had from the Marine Corps martial arts program was, as a green belt, you're in full flat Kevlar and you have the rubber rifle. They put you back to back in the pit, and then you're basically, you have a rubber rifle, flak, and Kevlar back to back with your opponent. That is quite possibly the most realistic you're actually going to get. Like, fuck, I'm totally out of rounds. I'm going to fucking beat this dude to death with my goddamn rifle. This is happening. I'm going to beat your goddamn head in right now. And so, like, that's it. I think, well, I mean, that's what I always envisioned. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go dry? I'm going to take my 9mm out of the holster. I'm going to throw it at the guy because, it's worth more that way. And then it'll stun him, and then I'm going to beat him to death with this giant black baseball bat, which is pretty much all that an AR-15 turns into when you're out of ammo. So, I mean, that's where I was going with it. I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, could you imagine if it actually was effective what they were teaching them, and then on the weekends, long libo, they're letting all these privates go out in Jacksonville or Fayetteville and they actually know what they're doing? I mean, it's a good thing they do dummy proof it. It's like, oh yeah, karate chop their neck, and then some guy is bigger than them at the bar beats the piss out of them. It's like, it's probably good they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So you were in Nick's team for a while. Is that what you said?
Yeah, my last team in, Nick and I were in a team together with a good guy named Doc Razor, and then we had another Razor in the team already, so we made Doc Razor give up his name.
Oh, shit.
You know that goes. Seniority, you're day one, you show up, and you got the same name as another guy. It's like, well, sorry, bro, I know you were given that at birth, but this guy's nickname beats you, so you got to lose that, So, so it was the four of us.
I think you and I were there at the same time. I was the Paraloft Chief there, second MSOB I got there in September of 11.
Okay. And, I was there from 7 to 9. So.
Oh, okay. So you left earlier then. All right.
Yeah, just a little bit before you.
Aw, snap, chewing the same dirt. Word.
I wasn't chewing any dirt, man. I was hanging out in the Paraloft.
When were you when were you downrange? When were you in country?
So I went in, I believe it was 08, 09, right around then. It was, Nick's team and I, we went out to the western part of Afghanistan, started in Shindan, then bounced down to Farah, then went up to Zeriko. We had that East Coast guys that were out in the west, and then we had a Delta company that was down south in Helmand and Farah.
Nice. I think you and I were in, well, no, I was shortly after that. But I was in the Kajaki Sangan area throughout Helmand.
Nice.
And that was March to November-ish, 2011. So.
Okay.
Tim and I were in country roughly around the same time. Weren't we, Tim? Or was it like back to back?
Which time?
When were you in Afghanistan? In Sangan?
From like October 10 to June 11.
Yeah, so we overlapped briefly. Slaying bodies in Helmand, no big whoop. Fucking tally. Fucking tally. I called them tallywhackers every once in a while. It was my favorite thing to call them over ICOM. Or else I call them shy boys. You ever call the Taliban shy boy over the ICOM? Because that's fun. Especially when you have an interpreter and you're just like talking shit over the net. Like, fuck you. I don't give a damn whether or not you come up. Exactly. Fuck you and your goddamn man dress and your AK. All right? You bring a Spig 9 over here and I am going to warthog your ass. Like, this is happening. You know what I mean? You're just like talking shit through your terp. We had this badass terp. We got to get John Cena on the show. That was our terp's name, right? And I'm just like, I'm sitting there rambling, just talking American shit to this motherfucker. And he's rambling it off into the ICOM, right? And Radbin's getting in touch with us. Like, you fuckers got to stop. Like, stop it. At this point, you sound like teenagers prank calling people, okay? Like, I get it. You're just trying to get into a firefight, but my God. And then, you're sending IR Illume out and shit. And you start doing, like, point dead Illume on the deck, and they start freaking out. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, meanwhile, your interpreter doesn't realize you're insulting him the whole time as well. He's just sitting there screaming,
No,
F you brownie. What's going on? We're talking about, never mind.
He was from Kabul, dude. We're fine. He spoke
no. You're like, no, this totally, don't listen to anything I'm saying. This totally excludes you.
Right.
Yeah. What do you mean you're not included in this. You're one of us.
Right. Present company excluded. All you people are savages, okay? So, like, here's the... Yep.
Right.
Cena's stateside now. That Terp is stateside. Doing good
cool.
things. Doing good things. Hard work. Not living off the state. A lot more than I can say about my fellow American. So where were we going with so you were in Second Force Reconnaissance. Did that mean that you went and gathered intel in hard nature? Is that what you did there?
No, that's how I scammed my way out of being in the air wing. I was out on deployment, and I was a McQuist, so all the guys from Second Force kind of took me on as an adopted child because I couldn't get my monitor to release me. So as soon as we pulled into Rota, they ran a screening. They brought me on board, got me some TDY orders that my monitor couldn't stop from happening because I was a McQuist. So they we need him for swim quals, and the whole time they sent me through RIP and BRC and everything else out there at Second Force so I could get qual.
Dirty bastard.
I know, right? That's what we got to do, man. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hell yeah.
That's it right there, man.
That's so the shit that happens, man. It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way we got to do sometimes, So yeah, that's kind of how I got pulled over into the recon community and scam my way out.
Really funny. Well, what was your MOS in the wing?
It was like aviation electrician or something stupid, and then I was a door gunner on a helicopter, which really means just flying circles and
Space shuttle door gunner.
right,
That was my go-to pickup line on M Street in Georgetown. I was like straight face, like, what do you do in the Marines? I'm a space shuttle door gunner, baby. Tomorrow I got a test launch. You want to get out of here? We should do this. I don't know if I'm gonna die.
And shit blows up on the launch pad all the time, baby.
Ed
this
White,
could be my last night
Gus
on Earth.
Grisham.
Could be my last night on Earth.
Let's do this. My buddy over there, he's lead chair triangle with the Marine band. Weirdo. Yeah, we party together. It's no big deal. And then like you're putting your pants on, they're like, Eric? You even went so far as to give him just a totally fake name. I'll see you never.
Eric? I'll see you never.
William and Mary College. That's why we are not welcome
space,
back.
Baby.
I gotta go. It's time for the test launch. I'm needed out of the Cape.
She went to school at William and Mary.
Really? They despise Marines.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. Rightfully so.
My cousin loves me, at least, thank God. So.
Right? So,
at least somebody does.
Yeah, somebody.
Oh my God. So, all right. So, where are you living now, man?
I'm up in Northern Virginia, right around Dulles Airport area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that area
you ever
very
go to the
well.
Air and Space Museum up there?
What's that?
You ever go to the Air and Space Museum up there?
Yeah, when I was like 2. I mean, the grown men don't just walk in and, oh, do you? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Your weekend.
And yeah,
I love that museum. I'm with Tim on
it's like
that one.
watching
with my
Disney
face
movies.
all cast down, kicking my toes in the sand, going, "Oh, poor me."
Yeah, it's like Disney movies. You take your kids just so you can make an excuse for watching them. You can't just walk in an Air and Space Museum as a grown man, or they're gonna call up, "Hey, we got this weirdo walking around in circles, stalking kids."
Dude, I got 2 daughters, man. I got over that shit a long time ago.
Yep, I got a daughter too, but she's 15 now. She's not going to the Air and Space Museum with me.
Yeah, well, that's my problem. Mine are 17 and 21. I don't get to do that anymore.
No.
So we just figured. I was sitting here looking, and you know how we always talk about how the East Coast Marines all have. Well, Tim, you're kind of an exception because you played West Coast first, but
yeah, I had mine before I got here.
So really, it's really more of a recon scout sniper curse of the girls. I've really come to that conclusion that it's even worse within the special ops community that we all have girls.
Yeah, it's a curse for the sins that we've committed. Trust me.
That I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I have 4 daughters, Sean. So
Wow, man, you're still alive?
my shit was strong.
He was a bad man when he was young.
My karma was really bad.
Yeah, man.
I must have, not only did I do bad things in this life, I must have like been like a Carthaginian general that just like massive amounts of people, and that's fucking really bad karma.
No, I think it's Lejeune water.
No, it's not. I tried that.
No,
already.
it could be because I went to Lejeune in 1987. One of the first places I went and did some training at when I got out of boot camp.
You're within
so
the timeline.
Drank the water.
Right? You're within that timeline because what was it, 89 and before? I think is what they're saying, which I say bullshit. I say it's still.
A couple of weeks.
I say it's still fucked up, the water, but anyway.
Probably.
Especially on Onslow Beach, man. You serious?
Oh yeah, they had us dive in Mile Hammock Bay. I remember running into a refrigerator underneath there. I'm like, I can't see in front of my hand, and the next thing you know, I'm running into a refrigerator. Yeah, this is real clean water. Yep.
Yeah, see, I'm an old school recon guy because I was in recon, second recon when it was still on Onslow Beach, Sean. So, yeah, it's 92 to 96.
Tell us about the old Corps.
Asshole. Tim was in before me, so I deferred to him.
Well, back when Archibald Henderson was a private.
Yeah. I
like how they put the water drop zone at Lejeune in a grid square of water that happens to be right over the largest hammerhead shark breeding area in the world.
It's not the largest, the second.
Whatever. Don't split hairs with me, mister.
All I know is I love it when we would go out in boats and we'd be zooming around out there, and you see these people frantically waving on the boat, right? And they're like, because they're waving us off because they're filming Shark Week.
Nice.
Like, no way. You don't want to be here.
Right.
You get out of the plane and you're like, woohoo, this is great because I'm going to land in the water. It's a sunny day. It's like, man, this is like South Beach, Miami, right? And you look down and you see all these fins and shit. And it's like, yeah.
Well, as you look down and you see 500 freaking 7-foot hammerheads, sitting there writhing around. This shit's crazy. I couldn't believe it. First time I flew over that in a helicopter, I was like, you got to be shitting me. We're finning through this fucking thing.
You're dressed like lunch.
I've got a pretty good story about a guy on our team named Max Haar. He this is a jump go wrong story, but I have to preface it with Max also was a bartender at Pride Week several times. It doesn't have anything to do with the story, but we like to bring that up every time we bring up the story. So we go on a jump, and the jump master lets us out 30 seconds early on a C-130, which when they're hauling balls,
never happens.
Man. Never. So we're over top of water looking for land, just hoping we can drift over to it. No hope in the world, end up in the water. So we're swimming. They come and pick us up. Next thing you know, a couple of days later, Max finds out that he has jellyfish larvae all in his skin and has to get some crazy treatment to get rid of all of it. It's
God.
Those are the waters we're jumping and swimming in. Yep.
That's what happened to me. Oh my God, I never knew.
Nasty.
I had freaking larvae. Holy fuck. I couldn't imagine.
Sometimes
I remember swimming through those fucking jellyfish that sucked balls.
Yep.
Finning through those fuckers. God, the red ones. Those little, softball sized red bastards. I don't remember what kind they are, but they're fucking annoying. So tell us another sea story, Sean.
Sean, please tell us a story, please.
Tell us a story, Sean.
Well,
man,
what's that? What we like doing is good, bad, ugly, hilarious, claim to fame, a badass thing that might have happened downrange. Maybe you didn't know she had a dick. There's a variety of different stories that we could pull from. You know what I mean?
Trust me, you always know. It's just whether or not you want to pretend you didn't beforehand. I mean, isn't that the real case? It's like, oh no, I had no clue at all. It's like, okay,
I was thinking maybe, holy shit, but I wasn't quite sure until,
It's when you reach. It's when you reach down for the throat and feel that Adam's apple that you know you have a real bad.
Oh man, I guess I didn't have that shaved off enough.
Never happened.
I shouldn't talk
It's a
shit
real-
like that. Caitlyn Jenner follows me on Twitter. Ah, man, I'm sorry, Caitlyn. I feel bad.
I
Feel
mean,
real bad about that.
Shim still thinks that has a chance. I mean, come on. Throwing hope
Shim
out there.
still thinks. Oh,
Shit's
man. Ugh.
fucked up.
I can go into any bathroom I want, folks. No big whoop. Live in North Carolina. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, how frequently do you go into D.C. to the heart of power, living
Man,
there in
it's-
Northern
it's-
Virginia?
As few
To the heart
times
of
as
darkness,
possible,
you
that's for sure.
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, once you get outside the Beltway, you try and stay out of there. I got a good friend of mine who was working up on the hill for a while, and so I go down there whenever he comes into town. But other than that, man, I try and avoid that place as best possible.
No, I feel you. I got a buddy who, he lives, well, you might know him. We've had him on the show, Wade Spann. He's a fellow Marine, local to Falls Church, which is, I mean, shit, that doesn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
And still lives in the area and everything. He's actually out on his tour across America, which I love the name, Span Across America.
Oh,
Ah,
look at that.
Ah.
Clever,
I
clever.
don't get it.
good word
Clever
play.
Marine, yeah.
I know, right?
We actually can. Sometimes we actually can do clever things.
Yeah.
Us Marines, you know.
We've got a good cluster of a network up there in Northern Virginia. See, it's got a little piece of my heart too, because that's where I met my current wife. You know, the ex-wife, not so much. But
Where
but
was she from?
what's that?
The
My
ex-wife.
the ex-wife, she's from Michigan. We don't live. We
See,
don't like
yeah,
talking
I keep telling you about Michigan, man.
Oh, I
you
know. I learned my lesson. You got to understand. I learned my lesson. Like, I live away from there, right? You know? Oh, did you like growing up in Michigan? Oh, yeah, I loved it so much. I voluntarily went to war at 17. Like, fuck off. No. You know? And it's like, oh, you moving back when you get out of the Corps? Like, no. What, you out of your mind? It's like 9 feet of snow on the regular. And it just, the weather. Anyway.
It's just bad.
The good thing is,
like-
at least
it's like
growing
upstate
up in
New York.
Detroit. The good thing is, at least growing up in Detroit, it kind of like prepared you for war and the people you're going to go to, you know?
Well, thank God I didn't
Every
grow
time-
up in Detroit. No, I grew up
Yeah,
in
but
Pleasantville.
every time you went to a freaking Red Wings game, it was like going through the heart of it.
Oh, dude. Dude, they filmed Robocop down there. Remember?
They sure did.
I
And
mean,
they never fixed the city afterwards.
no, they did not.
right.
They didn't update it. They were like, oh,
Like,
man,
oh,
they
you want
shot
to take down
Robocop.
that building? Go ahead, straight through it. Yeah, we're just going to leave that where it's at. You're good.
We're going to be fine. Oh, yeah.
Patina.
Funny.
It's got a patina. It's got a great patina. This
Then-
building.
It's got a
Just
veneer.
leave-
That's what you call that?
Yeah.
Patina?
Patina.
A patina.
Right off.
Mm.
Right off Jefferson. Oh, dude, one time we were hanging out after a Wings game. We went down to Greektown for some good-ass pizza, and I had to swing by the truck, right? And grab something out of the console. We make our way down. Greek pizza, bam. And my buddy is at the bar talking to this, I mean, like, good-looking black chick. I'm just like, wow, smoking hot. Walk up. She's a stripper next door, and he's like, hey, man, we got like free entrance. Let's go. So we're waiting, you know, the two people, whatever, to like go in, no cover charge. And of course, you know, I'm standing there. It's Detroit. I stop thinking for half a moment, and
Yeah.
there's
Yes,
this
I know where this is going.
there's this crackhead who's like, hey man, let me get some money. Let me get some money. And then so I stuff my hand into my pocket as deep as I can get in there. And I'm digging around and stuff. And he's like, what you looking for, man? What you looking for? And I pull out my brass knuckles. And I'm like, something to fucking hit you with. And started swinging on this motherfucker. He was wily and knew it was coming. And it was like took off down the street kind of a deal. We went in that strip club. Oh my God. So much junk in the trunk. For you know what I mean? Just like, brrr. But they were totally cool with me bringing those brass knuckles. So everything got patted down.
Nice.
Anyway, that's
Yeah, I
what
just
happens
went-
down there.
I just went up to a Dirty Heads and Sublime concert up in
Nice.
Baltimore a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was an awesome concert. Dirty
Hell
Heads in
yes.
concert, if you've never been, is phenomenal. But you're talking about getting patted down. I was cracking up. I'm in line, and they're patting everybody down. And the guy, like 3 people in front of me, he pulls everything out of his pockets. And, man, he's got bags upon bags. And the guy just looks at it. He's like, all right, you're good. I was like, what are we patting people down for? What exactly are we looking for? No clue, you know?
All right.
So,
That's funny.
Yeah, I got patted down Saturday at a Zach Brown band concert. I'm like,
Oh, those
why
are
are we? Yeah, they're known for their violence, the Zach Brown band. Because literally, as soon as we got out of the car in the parking lot that's across the street from the amphitheater, all you could smell was weed. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good night. Meaning it's gonna be nice and calm, the whole freaking place. It was awesome. But one of the best concerts I've ever been to. But everybody was so like happy.
Yeah,
I guess is the word to say.
Yeah, because potheads are usually doing bong rips in the living room, like, oh man, I'm gonna smoke all this weed and then I'm gonna stab that motherfucker to death. That's what I'm gonna do. Ooh, really amps you up, really gets you going. You know,
So that's awesome, man. Got his toes in the water and his ass in the sand.
That's right. That was a great concert, man. I just this past Saturday.
Oh my god.
You invited me, man. I didn't have anything going on.
Well,
I would have gone with you.
I kind of had to take my wife, so
Wife.
you know,
Bummer.
wife.
Bringing sand to the beach, you know better.
Yeah. It was a tons of fun.
So tell us what gym you train at.
Yeah, so I train at Disciple MMA and Beyond Strength Performance Nova. It's right in Sterling. If you're familiar with the area, it's about 5 minutes away from Dulles Airport. So been training out of there for about 5 years, and we're actually making a big move here in a month to a new location, doubling size. We're actually gonna have showers. Imagine that, Marines showering.
Wow.
I know, right? I'm not even gonna know what to do in there. We're not inviting any Navy. We know how that goes if they get Navy in the showers. So, you know, did I go too far?
Good call. Good call. This is a good call.
Take that too far?
Thanks for the ride.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Right on.
Yeah,
So,
man.
do any other fighters? Who else trains there? Anybody that?
Yeah, so we had Dustin Page come out of our gym. He fought in the UFC. He had like 3 or 4 fights in UFC, was on Ultimate Fighter. I don't know if you watched the show, but he was the crazy one eating bugs on it.
Right.
We got a bunch of guys that are fighting in Shogun, World Series of Fighting, Bellator, Cisco Yarrights, right now fighting up in Shogun with a couple wins up there. We got the gutter man, Neil Johnson. Sounds like a real cool nickname, but no, he was actually a gutter man. Cleaning gutters, you know, that's what he did, and so he just kind of got the nickname. We got
the gutter guy.
Yeah, he's a gutter guy, you know. He likes keeping it in the gutter. Yeah, and he's the dirty dude too, so it kind of fits. But
Oh, man.
I really want to sweat
you
on a
own this
mat with
gym?
that guy.
yeah, I'm a partner in the gym. We transitioned over back in 2011. We were training in somebody else's space, and when Dustin was going into the UFC, we only had like 2 nights a week, a couple hours available, and so we knew to get him to the next level and get all the other guys to the next level, we really needed that 24-hour access to a facility. So we were like, well, everybody pinched our pennies, get them together, and we're going to get a place open and running. So it's been a pretty cool experience. You know, it was my first business that I really opened, and since then I do like distressed property real estate stuff. I've got a business for that.
Very cool.
We've got a strength conditioning. So Beyond Strength Performance is a strength conditioning gym. We have all semi-private training, but then we've got the tactical side where we train some special units and stuff on strength conditioning and resiliency training and stuff, getting them to peak performance so that way they can go out the door and do what they need to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're kind of an entrepreneur as well, huh?
I mean, yeah, I'm a entrepreneur, I guess is what they say. I'm not really swimming in the dough yet, so you know, I listen to Gary Vay talk about all this stuff, and when I hang out with Mark Zuckerberg, I'm like, all right, I'm sitting here hanging out with like Joe down the street, so can't be doing that good, you know.
Right.
No,
I'm hanging out with you guys, so what does that say?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing it, man. You're building your own future. That's badass.
I mean, you guys are about to interview a presidential candidate. I mean, I feel like I'm special being on this show right now, you know?
Crap, you have no idea how nervous I am about that.
Come on, nobody even knows his name.
We'll see
what
how
are you
that
going to say
goes.
that's wrong?
No, I'm
totally
like his
unnervous.
biggest supporter in North Carolina. So, you know, I'm part of his grassroots campaign.
Right.
You know, so
Oh, jeez.
he's my guy.
So where can
I think you are the grassroots campaign in North Carolina.
Oh no, man, you have no idea.
where can people find you online?
Yeah, so if you go on Facebook, I'm on Sean the Silent Warrior. If you go on Instagram, it's just Sean the SW. And if you go on Facebook, I've got an event set up that you can go on, check out. The next fight, September 24th. It's called Battle of the Base. So it's going to be on Henderson Hall and Fort Myer Joint Base up here in Northern Virginia. That's kind of why I took this fight, to be honest. I haven't fought in a year and a half almost, had full ACL reconstruction, and I was kind of like, I don't know what I really want to fight. And then they told me it was going to be on base for a bunch of military guys. And right then I was like, okay, step up the game. 5 weeks notice. It's time to go and throw down. So,
Yeah.
Nice. It's going to be over there. But, yeah, I've got the event on Facebook under Sean the Silent Warrior, and you can join it, find tickets through it, get all the details and everything. If anybody in this area wants to come check it out.
Yeah, man. And for our listeners, it's SEAN, Sean, not the other one.
Yeah, there's only one way to spell it.
That's right. It's the right way. Pretty good.
I love it.
You can also check out silentwarriorscholarshipfund.com, right? You said that one. And then standbythewounded.com, as well as Raider Project, which we've had Nick on the show before. So you're fighting for a lot of kick-ass organizations. Do you have any other takeaways or where people can actually go to either donate or sponsor, or how can people get involved monetarily speaking?
Yeah, I mean, monetarily, if you want to give away money, you can just send it to me. I love getting money. No, I'm just joking.
That's my line.
No, so actually, I'm glad you brought up the three charities. So Silent Warrior Scholarship Fund was started by a guy. He's still a current MARSOC guy that's out there. He's actually getting ready to kick out the door again. Great guy. He started up this scholarship fund to take care of all the different 0321s and, guys from the new MOS that they stood up. So basically, it's all of their kids. Primary beneficiaries of it are going to be guys who, have passed on and their kids that need support getting college funding. But then it opens up after they get the first call for it to, any kids in the community. And they make a hell of a sacrifice, missing us, because everybody thinks like, oh, how long are you deploying? It's like, oh, I'm gone for 8 months. But then you come back and the next year and a half, you're gone training or out at this place. So those kids make quite the sacrifice. So I've picked him up as like my new, organization to help out. And then you got Stand by the Wounded, a guy named Mark Gallert. That's a resilient bastard, man. He's been shot so many times and blown up and everything else. And he came back, man. He's back at pretty much 100%, firing off at all cylinders, but it's because people kind of took care of him, got him to the right facilities and everything that, you're not going to get the VA to send you to, these API and Exos type facilities. Yeah. So what he does is he helps first responders and mill guys that are critically wounded after they get released from the hospital, get back up to the point that they can jump back in a team, which I think is really cool. Because, that's where I think a lot of that depression and everything else comes from, when these guys get the treatment they need, get effed up on some pain pills or something, and then get sent out and they can't ever join back up the group of guys they were with. So they're doing great stuff.
That's
and
a
then
lot bigger problem than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, man. Everybody talks about PTSD and everything, and everybody got on Tim Kennedy the other day for what he said. But and I'm glad it's raised some awareness. But a lot of this stuff is just the guys being stressed out from getting back into a normal society where they can't function the way they used to be able to function. And there are guys dealing with actual PTSD from war, but half these guys, man, it's a lot of different causes out there for them not being able to fire off on all cylinders or not being able to transition properly, which is what the Raider Project tries helping with. So it's kind of cool being able to give to some of these organizations to really help the guys that, would get bunched up in a little category and pushed to the side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was an eye opener for me when I went to MARSOC as a rigger, to see the huge difference in the resources and just the way they treat Marines, that get hurt or injured or whatever. They, all of the vast resources to get thrown behind them to try to get them back, to full duty and back to, being 100%, that most Marines can't imagine. I mean, having our own, counselors and psychiatrists on staff and having our own personal trainers and nutritionists and all this other kind of stuff over at the gym, most Marine Corps units would kill to have that kind of stuff, but it's also it's also access to a lot of these nonprofits like you're talking about that kind of bridge that gap, because when guys are walking out the door to leave the service, all those things shut off, right. that pipe gets closed off. But they have people whose sole job is at MARSOC to connect guys to these other nonprofit or non-governmental organizations and stuff that can continue to serve them. And so that's good stuff, man. That's awesome what you're doing, supporting these guys.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my little part. I'm doing pretty well for myself out here, but that's not the case for everybody. So want to make sure all the other guys, you don't leave them behind,
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Well, keep adding value to the world, brother. That's fantastic.
I'm going to try, man.
Hell yes.
I brought enough chaos to it that I figure I can at least try and bring some normalcy back to it as well,
Yes, wonderful.
My karma bank is still plenty in debt, so,
Still negative, huh?
Yeah, I've got a negative balance. Bank calls me all the time telling me I owe some more karma, so I'm slowly working it off.
There you go. Good.
Awesome.
Well, right on. Thank you so much for joining us on Cigars and Sea Stories. That is fantastic.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on here. It's the only way we can get word out. So when you guys shed a little bit of light over to these causes and stuff, it's really what helps out.
Nice. Well, right on. Folks, if you haven't already done so, check out Sean Reed. Check out SilentWarriorScholarshipFund.com. There's also StandByTheWounded.com. And, of course, check out Sean Reed it's Sean Reed Silent Warrior or Sean the Silent Warrior on Facebook. Go and check him out right now, like his page, get behind what he's doing. And he's a credible dude. Coming out of the O3 community. This is awesome. So, yes.
He's good looking, too.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'd fuck him. And on that note, we cue the music.